Today we are going to know the design philosophy of Benjamin Alexander, the winner of Project Runway New Zealand. This interview has been recorded in one of the best design colleges in India, Pearl Academy, in their South Delhi campus. So Benjamin, my first question is one of the most popular words in fashion industry and it is one of the most confusing for design students. Yeah, it is inspiration. So how do you take inspiration?
To be honest, I can never, pinpoint a certain thing and say, this is what I'm inspired by, this is what I continue to go back to. I watch movies or I watch television programs or read books or anything like that. Not that I don't do those things, not that they don't inform my work, but it's not something that I would say inspires me. It continues to change. And I never want to kind of single out one. I might look at, say, my graduate collection. For whatever reason, I just decided I wanted to use beads and only beads. So the entire collection was beads. So that was kind of my idea, but I didn't just decide, and this is the movie that I'm going to look at, and that's going to inform how the beads are going to look or how the silhouette's going to look. So usually it's kind of everything. As I was saying before, I kind of not pinpoint, but decide, all right, this is what I want to do, and then it kind of opens on its own.
Okay. So maybe it's very intuitive. So
extremely. I think it's kind of an unconscious thing that happens.
Yeah.
And then last year, for whatever reason, I decided to use red, so everything was red. But I couldn't justify, or in the end, I could explain the work and justify what it represented, but in the beginning,
Okay. Yeah.
I couldn't, it's just the way I work, I suppose. But if I had to really, I guess, say what inspires me, probably, as cliche as it sounds, people. Like the lady at Colette in Paris. So it could be someone on the street, it could be, friends, it could be anything, anyone, and everyone.
Now, my next question is a very difficult question to answer in a fleeting interview. But tell me briefly, what is your design process for your final design collection?
It's kind of hard to really articulate an entire design process, I think, especially because, this is my 6th year, over 6 years it's continued to develop and change, and not really change actually, just develop and grow. In terms of my process, I suppose I usually decide on a certain thing. It's kind of, initially when I come up with a concept or decide what I'm going to do with my next body of work, usually it's a single thing that I've either seen or been exposed to, or a color or a fabric, absolutely anything that I've seen. But usually it's a singular thing that's kind of jolted an idea. For instance, last year I was in Paris and I was walking out of Colette, and there was this woman, and she was just going for a walk, but she was just in a grey tracksuit and a bucket hat and a floor length, fur coat, and just clutching, a bag. It was just, something so simple as seeing, a well-dressed woman in the street going about her business. I still think about her in terms of how I see women dressing and not behaving, but so from something, a singular thing that I've seen that as I said, sparked or shot out an idea, I would then go kind of critically analyze what I liked about it or what I thought could be done better. And so I would kind of do a lot of online research or kind of hands-on research in terms of asking what people think or what people are comfortable in.
How do you translate one idea into a visual language? Like you create boards or you?
I don't necessarily create boards. I have a visual diary that I kind of continue to work on throughout the year. It's usually very raw and kind of, it's a mess, but I understand it. So usually it's kind of filled with images or critical writing or things that I've picked up along the way that I thought were relevant in terms of what I was looking at. I suppose translating an idea into like a visual conversation kind of depends on really the initial idea. For that collection, my graduate collection, the way I designed it was fabric first because I had the access to the fabric. I had the idea and I was able to find fabrics that I wanted to use that suited the aesthetic of the collection and what I wanted the collection to, I suppose, represent. And so that year I started with the fabric. But last year's collection I decided a colour, which was red. So every year it's constantly changing, every year.
And this year?
And this year I'm not sure yet.
Your sustainability is looking like one of the things. Key
But
drivers.
that's been a key driver for 3 years now.
Yeah. Yet you have not yet started thinking how the collection will look.
I've absolutely started thinking about what I want the collection.
So what comes to your head? So are the silhouettes coming to your head, or the fabrics coming to your head, or the color, or the feel, or the whole branding? How you?
I think the identity.
The idea, yeah. So
the image.
Yeah.
The final image is kind of what I work towards. I don't think about, not that I don't think about it, but when I'm designing a collection or choosing fabrics or anything like that, I'm constantly thinking about the image at the end as a whole, not just the garment. So what it represents in terms of how it should be worn or how it should be photographed or who should wear it, where you should wear it, what it photographs, like everything. And most of the time before I actually design a collection, I haven't been able to do my own show yet, but that's something that's extremely important in my work, is designing a show for the collection. So my graduate, as I said before, my graduate collection, for whatever reason, I decided I wanted to use beads. I wanted everything to be sparkly. And so I began to research different suppliers and different ways I could really just access, beautiful cloth. And then by chance, I suppose by luck, the owner of a company called Ventures, who are based in Calcutta, he was over in New Zealand on a buying, selling trip with another company, Hawes and Freer, who are a New Zealand company. Yeah. And Belinda had been asking around for me, and it just so happens that he was here for about 4 days, and we got a call from Hawes and Freer saying, he's here tonight at 6 p.m, come meet him, see his range. And so we did, and it was just unbelievable, the amount of fabric and different cloth and beads that he had to offer. And then that's kind of where I suppose my sustainability journey started, because as we got to know the guy and as we were looking at the fabrics, you know, we were asking questions and la la la. And then Belinda asked, you know, how is it all made? Because it's all hand done. So we wanted to make sure that it was ethically sound. And it turns out that, you know, his production and everything that he does is GOTS certified, which was really incredible. So from there, you know, I picked fabrics and I started designing a collection, you know, really researching what I wanted the collection to say and do. So my graduate collection, my first collection for my master's, and this collection are all, you know, sustainably sound. It's been an unconscious part of my work, I suppose, for 3 years now. It just, yeah.
That was very interesting to know the breakdown of your design process. So that was Benjamin Alexander with us. So yes, if you are interested in more fashion insights, kindly subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon. And you can also buy design related digital books from my online store at gauravmandal.com at massive student discount. So I'll see you soon.